My name is Assaf. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Allison AI. Allison, we're a creative analysis, insights, and generations company, technology, based entirely with AI. And what we're going to talk about today is this connection between data and creative, or the impact that data or hidden data within creatives can really generate for your businesses. But if there's one thing, or if there's anything that I would like you to take from this session, is that creative data, that's the most important, most valuable data set you own. And you do own it. It's fractionally hidden. It's respected or considered as a black box, but it's yours. It's your data set, and it's the most important one you could analyze. It's the most important one you can rely on. But again, there are challenges in getting exposed in unveiling those data sets. So we'll talk about this connection, again, between data and creative impact. We'll talk about how we take raw data sets, raw insights, and we bring them to life. So as I said, my name is Assaf. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Allison AI, and we're getting started. So in order to really understand how creative impacts performance and how creative is actually presented within social platforms, within media platforms, let's go down the memory lane for a second. Let's reflect back on everything that happened in the past, maybe 30 years. I promise it will take no more than a few minutes. But understanding creatives and understanding performance of creatives within social platforms basically begins with what social platforms are, how they react to creatives, how the algorithms work, how the placements and the optimization really works. So this evolution of optimization, obviously now we're all about creative, but what happened before? How did this even started? So in 1994, many years ago, industry just started, online media just started. It was all about getting reach, getting exposure, getting your message, getting your content out there. The main goal of optimization, although it was really the beginning of media optimization, but the real goal was getting more exposure, better reach. Then, in the 2000s, something changed. Google Ads, keyword-based targeting started appearing, and then basically clicks became more valuable. Clicks became the most important thing you can really optimize towards. And also, thinking how clicks and how optimization goals evolved, really understanding of what is optimization and how do we look at performance in general. So, 1994, it was all about clicks. Then, between 2007 and 2014, Facebook, right? Facebook rose. Facebook started with their optimization, with algorithms, with demographic and interest-based targeting. It was all about who are we targeting and where those people are. What do they care about? It was quite a challenging times because Meta kind of pushed us all through this understanding that intent matters. And it pushed us to the understanding that demographic matters. And then the entire targeting, the entire optimization goals became focused on those things. And then very soon, later, but also in parallel, lookalike audiences. It's not just about who we're targeting similar people. We're leaning on algorithms, we're leaning on data sets that can find the right people for us, right? The right people to target. If we have a data set and we have an audience, then basically what Meta did is helping us reach different audiences with the same characteristics. And then, boom, GDPR. I've been in this industry for 15 years. I'm guessing you remember those times as well. A major shift in data privacy, major shift in how do we look at data set, how do we look at personal identification information and others. And this was the beginning of the big shift within optimization goals and optimization with social platforms. And then, again, another big boom, iOS 14, iOS 14 and a half, the end of traditional tracking, right? The end of what we could really understand, the end of what we could really achieve, or the visibility that we're getting for our campaigns and for our targeting. And then, again, Google presented PMax, right? It's this, again, shift, not just towards algorithms, it's this shift towards automation, and it's this shift towards machine learning, which is basically the beginning, the early days of AI. It's a combination of clever automation and clever machine learning that allowed us to really target specific performance indicators. And then Meta came with their answer, which is the Advantage Plus. We're all familiar with this very much, which is an AI-driven targeting capabilities and optimization specifically to increase performance and performance optimization. Now, a few years ago, TikTok and the attention economy, attention shifted dramatically. Now, optimization, it's not just about targeting, it's not just about automation. Now, the focus is about the content. It's about what we're saying, not who are we saying to. It's about what we're saying, what we're delivering to our audiences, and basically how we prioritize engagement and content consumption, and then correlate it with demographics and audiences. And now, I think we all understand that this walk down the path of the historical path, or the memory lane, has kind of shifted a lot. Now AI takes the major role within optimization. And it's not just AI. Media became less important. Deliverability became less important. Placement became less important. Why? Because we have no control. We do have limited visibility, but control? Absolutely not. And nowadays, you've seen the path, but nowadays the only thing we can really control, the only one variable we can control is the creatives. However, there's no visibility at all within those social platforms or platforms at all. And there's no really way of decoding those black boxes. We look at creatives as assets. We look at creatives as content pieces. But within those content pieces, there's a lot of different data points that are hidden. And by revealing them and gaining exposure and visibility to those data points, we can really begin the new era of optimization. Putting aside brands, sorry guys, putting aside media metrics and focusing on the content, focusing on the creatives, and especially videos. So the creative is the new optimization. Why? Because years ago, creative was just a neglected thing. It's just another thing we need to present to our audiences. It was typically images, banners, static formats. They were boring. They didn't tell a story. They didn't convey a message. It was just out there in order to be a representation of a brand. And now, again, creatives have evolved. We have influencers, we have creator economies, we have 3D videos and 2D videos and hero videos and a lot of different formats that typically we look at all of those formats exactly the same way. But then comes the question. And when I founded a company, I wanted to help advertisers, to help the industry understand what makes a creative work. How do we distinguish between a good creative and a bad creative? What is a good performance and a bad performance? And then how can we leverage those data points, those knowledge, in order to really optimize creatives? And you'll see in a second that we took this to the extreme. By revealing or unveiling those data points, we are now able to create or produce specific creatives, specific videos for specific platforms. Not just for specific platforms, for specific placements within specific platforms. And not just specific placements, for specific audiences and interests and offers and types of promotion and so on and so forth. So the end of the era of one size fits all, that's the creative and that's it. This era is long gone. It's behind us. Now, we're looking at how we take creatives, raw creatives, and we turn them into data points. Not just data points, not just thousands of data points, but billions of different data points. And it's all feasible and it's all possible thanks to AI. Let me show you this again. How we look at raw creatives, and then using AI, we are basically identifying those thousands of features and thousands of data points hidden within the creative, the colors, the sounds, the number of scenes, the actions, the concepts, the different atmospheres, value proposition, environments, product placements, transition pace, influencer, colors, logo positioning, and a lot more than this. This is all hidden within those videos that we all look at the same video, those videos exactly the same. We're not really prioritizing understanding those different features and these different elements within creatives to drive performance. Will we use the same influencer on all the different media platforms? Will we use the same colors, the same type of logos, the same sizes and logo placements in all the different social platforms or even different audiences? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why? Because then we're just averaging ourselves. We're not optimizing, we're not maximizing, we're averaging. And what I'm all about and what Allison is all about is not by averaging, is by maximizing, optimizing. So, I wanna emphasize one thing. I want to emphasize the fact that every single data point hidden within your creative matters. It matters to your performance, and it matters to your campaigns, and it matters to your deliverability, but also it matters to your brand. These features, these hidden data points can really tell a story. Tell us if we're pushing brand lift. Is it really increasing our brand exposure? Are we really pinpointing the right messages to the right audiences? Let's see. So after we've uncovered billions of data points hidden within creatives using more than 10 different AI models that run in unison, basically scanning creatives and identifying thousands and thousands of features. The simple stuff like you saw, the logos, the placements, etc., but also the most elaborated features you could think of, such as facial expressions, emotions, the type of environments, the concepts, and so on. So after we've uncovered those data points, now the mission is understanding how those data points are actually correlated with performance. How is a graphic background versus a blurry background, or maybe a real footage, actually impacts performance or drive performance? How does the face or facial expressions really move the needle for our campaigns and for our optimization goals? And that's the mission. Understanding how we correlate those features with performance. So we've built an AI model specifically for this. It's called the Allison AI. What it does basically takes thousands of different data points, features from one side, media metrics, performance metrics from the other side and correlates them like crazy at scale. This whole process takes seconds, but it's so powerful that when you'll see in a second how those different data points are actually correlated with performance, then you'll understand. So let's start with a few examples. So we typically think that, as I said earlier, yeah, we use the same concept in all of the platforms. We use the same concept in most of our campaigns. Yeah, we might be iterating, we'll A/B test a bit, and then we'll understand what's actually working and what's not. But not really. Because what we've realized is that for some reason, the algorithms at Facebook are prioritizing or even penalizing creatives differently than Google. So that means that we have to be clever and iterate differently for our campaigns on Meta and for our campaigns on Google. And you'll see this example. A user-generated concept versus a game-playing concept will perform completely different in two of the main media platforms on Earth, Google and Meta. And you'll see how the different concepts actually impact not just CTR, which is probably the most obvious thing, but also install CVR, IPMs, and so on, and performance is completely different. And again, if we will use the same concept in both platforms, we'll basically be averaging ourselves, not optimizing, not maximizing. And this is only possible, understanding those differences is only possible if we look within the creatives, if we're extracting the concepts and comparing them and saying, okay, how is Meta reacting to a specific concept and how is Google reacting to a specific concept? What is best? How should we go about it? And then sometimes those are simple, very simple tweaks, not complex at all, that would make a huge difference. And then, how does creative concept types, how do they also differ between the platforms? So we can see that testimonials versus app reviews are completely different. One platform prioritizes testimonials, which the other prioritizes app review. And sometimes you'll see in a second, even penalizing. The platforms, for some odd reason, the algorithms, they're penalizing creatives that has specific concepts. Why? I don't know. But that's how they behave. That's how this works. And instead of fighting it, instead of, again, running lots and lots of different versions and A/B tests, if we look at the data, we'll be able to get our heads around it and really come up with a great creative that will maximize performance. And it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if we're uncovering those data points and we understand that they matter. And they should be the guidance and the guidelines for our next creative production and our next iterations. A lot of D2C e-commerce retail brands that we work with, they came to us with this challenge, with this question, right? Should we show our app within the device, within our creatives? Should we show a specific device type within our creatives? Should we show our actual app interface? Yes or no? These are very common use cases, guys. But again, you'll see that different platforms prioritize different concepts and different features. Some, yeah, you should show your app interface. You should include it, absolutely. In some, you should include a specific device type, phones, and even show your app or show your product within the device itself to give the maximum exposure, the maximum understanding of how your product really behaves. And again, TikTok and Meta, look at the differences, guys. These are big differences. And this is, again, only feasible and only possible because we are looking within the creatives. We are tagging every single feature that is within the videos. And it can be thousands, it could be tens of thousands, and it could be millions. Now let's talk about goals. What are we trying to achieve, right? Every campaign has different goals. Every ad has slightly different goals. And then how are we matching our goals, not just with the creative and not just with the campaign type? How are we matching the goals to all of this and to the platform? So we are seeing that some platforms prefer monetization goals, for example, over installs. Why? Again, we're not sure, but we know that this is happening, and because we know that this is happening, we can tackle it and we can use it on our advantage. We can understand how creatives should behave and how creatives should be generated in order to match specific platforms and specific optimization goals. Let's move on. So we've talked about how we look at data points, and those data points, those features, those insights guides us towards our next creative production with matching the right audiences, matching the right goals, matching the right social platforms, and so on. But what about creatives that are running right now? Exhausting your ad spend, our ad spend. Okay, this is live. How do we iterate on those? Now, 99.9% of the companies we talk to, they use A/B tests. They have a creative that is running right now. They know it's doing decent. It's a decent performance, but they want to try and see if it can get better. So they iterate and they A/B test again and again and again and again. Imagine the operation you guys are going through when going about this process. So the same simple concept of understanding features guides us towards understanding iterations, even in real time. Creatives that are running right now, how should we iterate? What should we add? What should we remove? What should we replace within those creatives, and do it super quickly? So we can really iterate and maximize performance with live creatives and live campaigns, not just looking back at historical data, going through Excels and seasonality and again and again. This takes ages, and time to market matters. Even the simple things, as I said, logo size, a small logo versus a large logo. Some platforms prioritize smaller logos over large logos. Why? Again, we didn't develop those algorithms. We don't know, but we do know that it's happening. And by using the data, we can really tweak our creatives or optimize them for specific platforms. Okay, let's move on. Now, what happens if we have the same creative, but we're seeing completely different results on the three platforms, Google, Meta, and TikTok? So you'll see that in some cases, if we'll remove the logo, in TikTok, for example, this would yield a much, much higher ROI than if we'll change the logo from the left corner to the right corner on Google or Meta. And these are the things that are simple tweaks, very, very simple, very easy to modify, even with post-production, but they make a lot of difference. 99% increase in ROI, 90% increase, 20% increase in ROI. That's the iteration capabilities of our AI software. CTAs. How does CTA impact performance when they're positioned in the bottom or when positioned in the middle or in the top or in the end of the creative? Again, this matters. Creative text. Where should we put our creative text? Should it be in the beginning? Should it be in the end of the creative? Every platform prioritizes, and every platform is slightly different. Number of scenes. We used to think, again, on a video as an asset, as a black box. Yeah, it has 3 scenes, maybe 1 scene. But if we go deeper into a scene analysis and understanding how number of scenes, 1, 2, or 3 scenes, we can really come up with, with the right creative, with the right number of scenes that would yield the highest performance possible on those platforms. So, what are the main frameworks for analyzing creative? So one, as I said, and I emphasized a lot, it's platforms. Same creative, different results per platforms based on their algorithms. 2, audiences. Different audiences prioritize, or different audiences prefer different or slightly different creatives. And a deeper understanding into what actually generates responses will help us come up with the right creatives for the right audiences. Durations. Short video versus a long video. A 6-second video, maybe a TikTok, maybe a story ad, versus a 30-second video, maybe on Facebook. Time variation and ad formats will require adjustments. And those adjustments, again, guys, these are the backbone of how you all should be engaging, and you should all be looking at creatives right now. Stages of the funnel. Lower funnel versus upper funnel. How motivation impacts storytelling along the entire customer journey. These are all of the frameworks, or some of the frameworks that we're all about at Allison. And by using our platform, you'll be able to understand all of those in a fraction of the time that it really takes creative, media, brand, and BI teams today. So we've talked about a lot of data points, how we extracted them from creatives, how we're correlating them with performance, how different platforms prioritize different types of creatives and different iterations and different features, logos, sound, voiceover, characters, CTAs, etc. So we've worked with hundreds of companies in the past 4 years, and we have a few very interesting success stories and case studies that I would love to share with you. One of them is Tango. It's a global live streaming platform. Okay, more than 12 million monthly active users. It's kind of the #1 live streaming app in the world right now. And what Tango was able to achieve using Allison is quite overwhelming. How, again, simple modifications like hair color, ethnicity, and the different logo placements can really matter for optimization and performance. And companies that are relying very heavily on social ads and online marketing can really take advantage. How do we provide the optimal performance? By looking at the data points, identifying features, and looking at what's the highest performing, and then coming up with the right creatives. This is the right way to go about it. So, a few examples. On the left-hand side, you see the old creative. On the right-hand side, you see the new one. 3 main differences, not more than this. Simple tweaks, simple iterations. 1, hair color. 2, ethnicity. 3, logo placements. So again, we've realized that different logo placements and different ethnicities work differently from different platforms. Same with the hair color. By zooming into this, we were able to help Tango increase their ROI by more than 170%. 170%. Imagine how this is being translated and transformed into revenue in dollars. First time purchase, 330% increase. IPM, 56% increase. Install CVR, 19% increase. But there's another thing I didn't mention. Competitors, right? We're not just looking at our customers' creatives and using their historical data, because we're missing the market. We're missing everything that our customers have never tried before, but maybe their competitors, maybe the market have. So at Allison, we have a competitive intelligence module looking at your direct competitors' creatives, analyzing them exactly the same way that we analyze your creatives, and then running gap analysis to show you what are the differences and what you might be not leveraging enough, not utilizing. So by learning or gaining insights from your competitors, combining with what's working for you, these are the results that you should be looking for. 330% first-time purchase uplift. I think that's the most important metric here. But also higher win rates, less fatigue, and also another thing. There's another thing, time. Costs. 50% decrease in marketing and production costs, 80% savings in production time and analysis time, and so on. Another success story, another case study. Murka, one of the leading gaming companies in the world, was acquired recently, a few years ago, by a major gaming conglomerate, operating in more than 200 different countries. Look at their creatives. And they were, they were able to understand what is the right strategy for them, for the games, for each of the platforms. What is the right strategy for each of their audiences? And then taking it in very simple steps within optimization towards increase in IPM. So 122% increase in IPM for new creative concepts, basically raw creatives, new creatives being pushed into the platforms based on the Allison AI data. Then 68% increase in return on ad spend for new creative concepts. And I mentioned the iteration on existing creatives, iterating without A/B testing on existing creatives, 171% increase on existing iterations for existing creatives. So what do I want you to understand and take from this? One, higher IPMs, higher return on ad spend. That's the most important thing. And then, how long does this process take? Is it a yearly process? Will it take a year, maybe 6 months? Absolutely not. Within 3 months' time, step by step, real-time data being transformed into new creative concepts and new iterations, these are the results. 171% increase in leading KPIs, return on ad spend, purchases, IPMs within 3 months. This is truly transformative for a business. Okay, this is not the 10% increase we're used to, the 5% increase we're used to. These are massive numbers, and this is only possible given or using data that's coming from creatives. The only thing we really need to do is uncover it. So takeaways. One, obviously creative is a massive data set. You need to unveil it. You need to uncover it. You need to decode it. Once you do so, you'll be able to understand how every part of it correlates with media performance. And then, not just media performance, how it differs by platform, audience, goal, stages of the funnel. And ultimately, as I said, iterate basically to maximize media and creative performance. So I really hope I've tweaked something. I really hope I was able to help you with a bit more of a visibility towards how creative data really matters and how creative data can really impact performance. And I welcome you to reach out to us and let's speak and let us show you how this transformative can really be for you. And on your way out, there's a small swag gift waiting for you. Thank you.